Hey, it's Gary Lucas again. Today I'm going to be talking about a Crusader build and kind of what you can do with Crusader and how to farm Torment 1 with just rares. First thing I'm going to talk about is the build. For the build, it's kind of simple, and there's a few variations that you can do. The build is actually completely based around Judgment. With Judgment resolved, you have an 80% increased chance to critical hit on any enemy that you hit with the Judgment. It is actually quite a large radius, so you can kind of spam this basically. I'm just gonna do this. Then kind of like you have two damage dealers, Heaven's Fury and Condemn. Now I didn't make this build, this is actually based off of a build by Manor Cookie, and he's kind of completely theory crafted everything, so if you want to check out more information about that, you can YouTube him or check him out on his stream. So as I was saying, Heaven's Fury and Condemn are kind of like the main damage dealing things here. So Heaven's Fury, you're going to take Fires of Heaven, and the reason is because it's going to be your wrath spender. You're going to use it to basically just use up your wrath. Now the reason why you want that is because of Wrathful, which is for each point of wrath spent, you gain 825 life, which is also increased by 1% of your health glow bonus. Basically it gives you a lot of life, and on top of that it does a lot of damage. 735, it just got nerfed, but it still does a lot of damage. It's not going to be replaced by anything. Condemn is the second one. You're going to use Unleashed because it's instant damage, and it does quite a lot of damage. Now in this place, Slash, you can actually use a couple things. You can use Slash with Zeal, you can use Justice with Crack, or you can use Shield Glare with Zealous Glare. Now why would you use Shield Glare with Zealous Glare? One, it provides a blind, and it gives you 9 wrath for each enemy hit. Now the only time I would use this is if you were in a group. When you're in a group, you don't actually need the Slash with Zeal or Crack. You can actually use the Shield Glare with Zealous Glare. I've found that it's better in a group than Zeal is, but Zeal is much better for solo. I like using Zeal. You can use Justice if you want, but I like using Zeal for the attack speed. It gives you quite a lot of fury, and it does a lot of damage. The next part is, these two are kind of like up to you to change. I use Bombardment to simply take out elite packs, and Akarat's Champion is kind of, it's going to be in the end game build once you are completely geared with the Akarat set bonus. That is kind of what this entire build is based around, because with Rally, every time you attack, it reduces the cooldown of all your skills, and if you notice, most of our skills are cooldown based, except for Heaven's Fury. On top of that, with the Akarat set bonus, what it does is it reduces the cooldown by 50% on this, so making it 45, and then on top of that, it reduces the cost of your wrath spenders by 50% as well. So basically this would cost 20 wrath, so all you need to do is get about 10 wrath regen, and then when you pop Akarat's Champion, it doubles your wrath regen, and basically allows you to just constantly spam this. The other thing it does is, with Akarat's Champion up, we're going to be completely building cooldown reduction instead of crit chance. We can actually replace crit chance with cooldown reduction, and with enough cooldown reduction you can actually make this last basically, or the cooldown will be basically as long as this lasts, so you almost have this up 100% of the time, as long as you have 55, it's like 54.5, 55 cooldown reduction, you'll have this up 100%. Now for passives, and you can replace either of these until you have the 4-set or whatever, the 5-set bonus for Akarat's champion. With Steed Charge, I like doing that just to move around more. You don't need Akarat's champion at this level. You kind of just need cooldown reduction. It helps. I take Lord Commander simply because it reduces the cooldown of Bombardment and Steed Charge. Wrathful to proc with this to give me a lot of life back. Heavenly Strength is just kind of like a no-brainer. It's really good. And then Finery for more damage. You can replace Lord Commander eventually with Holy Cause, and that is ideally what you would want to do once you have the Akarat set bonus, because Holy Cause will increase your weapon's damage, but it only works as assuming your weapon has holy damage on it. Otherwise, you're actually missing out on a lot of damage. And plus, it also gives you more sustain. You can also, in my opinion, replace Heaven's Strength with Holy Cause if you were to run a one-handed build, but you aren't going to be running one-handed. You're actually just going to mostly be running two-handed, so Heavenly Strength is good to go. You can kind of replace Finery. It gives you 70 strength for each gem, so it's kind of like just a lot of damage. It kind of depends on your play style, I think, but in my case, I like using it. You could take Righteousness, which obviously you're getting rid of damage for Wrath Regen, but whatever. So let's take a look at gear. For gear, using only rares to farm Torment 1, let's take a look at the helmet. So I have Strength, Vit, Crit Chance, and a socket with cooldown. Now I said that you're going to be replacing Crit Chance with cooldown reduction, but you actually need some Crit Chance. You actually need 20. I only have 11 here. Let me switch shields. I have another shield. That'll bring me up to 20. Now the reason why I run all resist gems, by the way, is because I don't have a lot of all resist on my gear. So that's what I'm doing. Ideally, you would want all resist on your gear instead of the secondary resist, but you know, you can't always be lucky. So so you're going to want to run a socket, and you're going to want to run a Royal Diamond in it for the cooldown reduction. If you look here, my cooldown reduction is 44. It's not amazing. Ideally, I would want more, but you know, sometimes you can't pick and choose. Basically, if you look at the gear that I have cooldown reduction on, I rolled mostly lower bounds. In this one I rolled max, this one I rolled 2 less, this one I rolled 1 less. That's perfect. That's good. Right, this one rolled 2 less. Right, so you can see that, you know, if I were to get perfect rolls on all my gear, I would have, you know, basically 55, which is what you want. On top of that, I'm mostly just stacking Strength, Vit, all res. Right, Strength, Vit, cooldown reduction. Here I have Heaven's Fury damage, so that's going to make this hit even harder. I have Holy damage over here with Strength and Crit damage. Remember, you don't need Crit Chance. You replace Crit Chance with cooldown. So that's just a lot of damage right there. As you can see, I have 350 crit damage. That can be much higher, but like if you see here, I rolled lower bounds of crit damage here. Strength, Vit, crit damage, cooldown. Holy skill, Strength, Vit, all res. That's all you can really get here. Belt, Strength, Vit, all res. Nothing wrong with that. It's obviously missing a primary stat, but it would just be life percent. It would just make you tankier. Strength, Vit, crit, cooldown. You actually don't need the Vit. Instead of the Vit, you can take average damage. And this ring is actually just pretty bad. It doesn't even have strength, but this is good enough to do Torment 1. You don't need much to do Torment 1. Strength, Vit, all res. You know, Strength, Vit, all res. Here I have Phalanx damage, because I was testing out another build, and but you would want instead, I think you can get Heaven's Fury. Let me just check real quick. It's either Heaven's Fury or Condemn. No, you actually can't get it on here. So instead of that, you would probably want move speed or armor or regen. What you can do if you do get move speed, and I'll talk about that in a second, you can actually replace move speed and paragon points and take strength instead. So you're basically getting more damage out of it. For weapons, this is kind of what you need right now until you get Akarat's Champion set. Once you get the set, you actually want to replace this with a two-handed flail with Wrath regen. So that way you can get up to the 10 Wrath regen. If you look at my Wrath regen right now, I only have 4.2. If this were to have Wrath regen, it would be like 8. And then if I can roll 2 on this, it would be a little bit better than the 1.7. So basically you can get up to 10, with which Akarat's Champion would bring it up to 20. So yeah, you just want strength, cooldown reduction, and a socket. That's all you really need. Obviously if it had holy damage, it would be better, because then I could run Holy Cause. And then for your shield, there's kind of like a lot of things you can get on the shield. You want Wrath regen, you want cooldown reduction, you want crit chance, and you want strength. I think that's the ideal thing to do. I'm not entirely sure, but with this, you can get all the cooldown reduction you need, and you need to get that 20% crit chance, which is 6, and then about 10, and then you have your base of 5. So you need only like 10, 5, and then you have base of 5. So with 6 and 9, that gives me the same, and then with the 5 base. And that's kind of like it for gear. You just run cooldown reduction instead of crit chance, and you still want to run holy on as many things as possible, and you want to run Heaven's Fury or Condemn. It's like on here, instead of Vit, I could have had Heaven's Fury or Condemn, or instead of crit chance, and I could have got crit chance somewhere else, which would probably be better, because having the Heaven's Fury or Condemn would technically be better. Same here, as you see, I got holy here, I got Heaven's Fury here. So just between these 3 things, I've got quite a lot of extra damage that's not showing up here. And you can also get like holy and skill damage on the shield. So I'm not sure what would be best in slot for the shield. And yeah, once you get into legendaries, there's like a lot of things you can do. For immediate upgrades, you could immediately build the Ashira set and try to get the Ring of Royal Grandeur. And what that would do is you just roll cooldown reduction on them and crit damage, and then I rolled Condemn, which is fine for me, because I think Condemn is more bursty than the Heaven's Fury. But once you get the Akarat set, you actually do want Heaven's Fury damage. But yeah, I don't know. This is just my opinion. And then you get the 100 all res and the 20% life with the Ring of Royal Grandeur, just with these 2. I have Blackthorns, but that's only because that's what's dropped for me. I do have some of the Akarat set, but I don't have enough to warrant switching out my Blackthorns. My Blackthorns pants are really bad though. And I got quite lucky with this Nagel Ring. I rolled basically everything you want: crit damage, cooldown, average damage, and strength. And then my Ring of Royal Grandeur is pretty bad. I had to roll into cooldown. So, I don't know. And then for the belt, I just got this. As I said, you just want strength, vit, all res, life percent. There's really nothing else you can get. The Harrington Waistguard will give you extra damage if you open up things. I do like this though. In a group, it just creates a giant field that blinds enemies, which is pretty good. And then the S of Johann is also a really good upgrade. It basically pulls in enemies. It has an internal cooldown. I'm not sure what the internal cooldown is. It's quite low, but it's still actually really good. And I was lucky enough to roll cooldown reduction and get max. So I just rolled into crit damage, and this is a really solid amulet. And then basically the only other things you'd want is a good shield, one of the legendary shields, either the one that gives heavenly strength, makes it so you don't lose move speed, or the one that whenever you block, it reduces the cooldown of all your skills by 1 second. And then for weapon, there's a bunch of different weapons. You actually ideally want all of them and swap them in and out as you use these different skills. Fate of the Fells, Mortal Drama, and the other one. So like one doubles your impact radius of bombardment, so you basically hit twice. And then another one makes it so every time you use Heaven's Fury, it shoots at 3 beams instead of the 1 that you'll see. It shoots at 3. So for Paragon points for Crusader, you're going to want to max out move speed here. You could, however, get move speed on boots and instead just max out strength instead. But my boots do not have move speed, so I'm going to be maxing out move speed here instead. The reason why is because on boots, we actually can't get any skills that really benefit us in this build on our boots. Usually you can. For instance, like a wizard can get Arcane Orb. We can't get Condemn or Heaven's Fury on boots, so it doesn't really matter to us. We can actually instead just get armor on it if you really want, or instead of that you can just get move speed and just max out strength here. For offense, we don't need crit chance, so we're going to take cooldown, and then we're going to take crit damage. Attack speed also doesn't really help us. For defense, you're going to want to look at your stuff and kind of decide, you know, do you want all res or do you need life regen? I like to take about 100 and then put everything else in life regen. And then for utility, I'm going to put 1 point here, everything else in resource, and then everything else in life on hit. So because I don't really need to be moving fast, I'm going to be using Akarat's Champion with Rally. And I'm just going to show you how to do this build. So as I said, we're just farming by ourselves. We immediately have an elite pack, so you're going to condemn, or not condemn, judgment, condemn, and then bombard, and you see how easily... Right, once you just have like these, and you're just going to be spamming judgment and condemn, and it just gives you so much damage. Right, you see? This is just easy. Now I should have been spamming Heaven's Fury as well, but talking and playing at the same time is a little interesting. So Judgment, Condemn usually kills everything. Heaven's Fury finishes it up. I basically save bombardment for elite packs, as I've said. And because I don't have the set bonus, Akarat's Champion isn't up. So this is just super easy. This is just Torment 1 with just rares. You know, and they're pretty bad rares too. They're not even like ideal. But hopefully we can find another elite pack real quick. You can just see how easy this is. As I said, you just spam Condemn and Judgment, and you spam Heaven's Fury when it's up. Or not when it's up, but when you have the Wrath. Otherwise, you just use Slash to gain back your Wrath to use Heaven's Fury. And you see, I'm doing 10 million crits almost. And this is with pretty shitty gear. So yeah, as you can see, it's just really easy. Super easy.